I want you to think about the best relationship you've ever had. The one that got away. The one that keeps you up at night. We all know what it feels like. It felt like electricity. It felt like a lightning strike. You met them and within 10 minutes you knew. The conversation flowed effortlessly. You felt a knot in your stomach, those famous butterflies. You checked your phone every 30 seconds, terrified you missed a text. When you were with them, the world was technicolor. And when you were apart, it was grey. You told your friends, we have this insane chemistry, it's like a soul tie. And now you're dating someone new. And it's fine. They text you back on time, they're nice to you, they're consistent, and you hate it. You feel numb. You tell your friends, I don't know, there's just no spark. It feels flat. Maybe I just don't love them. I'm here to save you from making the biggest mistake of your life. You're about to throw away a diamond because you are addicted to rhinestones. If you want the clinical breakdown of limerence, the addiction, the dopamine cycles, the withdrawal, go and watch my previous video. I'll tag it. I did a deep dive on the pathology there. So today we're going to do something different. Today we're going to talk about love. Real love. Evolutionary love. The kind of love that builds empires and raises families, not the kind that ruins your life. Here is the truth that Hollywood and your Disney childhood hid from you. Real love often feels boring. If you're used to chaos, peace feels like boredom. If you're used to a trauma bond, security feels like indifference. You are watching this because you are confused. You have these intense feelings for someone who treats you like an option, and you have zero feelings for the person who treated you like a priority. You want to know, is this love? I'm going to give you the answer, but you aren't going to like it. We're going to audit your relationship against the laws of evolutionary psychology, Jungian analysis, and Stoic philosophy. We're going to find out if you are actually in love or if you're just high. Let's start with biology. You are trusting your feelings as if they're a compass. They're not a compass. They're a weather vane spinning you in a storm. You need to understand the chemical signature of love versus the chemical signature of limerence. The dopamine versus oxytocin war. When you're in limerence, the primary driver is dopamine. Dopamine is not the cuddle chemical. Dopamine is the seeking chemical. It is the chemical of wanting. It is released in anticipation of a reward, not the enjoyment of it. When you're chasing that spark, you're chasing uncertainty. Evolution designed dopamine to make you hunt. If the gazelle, your partner, is running away, your dopamine spikes to make you run faster. That butterflies feeling, the electric anxiety, that is not your soul recognizing a mate. That is your sympathetic nervous system entering fight or flight. Your body is dumping cortisol and adrenaline because it detects a threat. The threat is rejection. You're interpreting terror as passion. Real love has a completely different chemical signature. It is dominated by oxytocin and vesperocin. These are the here and now chemicals. They are the chemicals of safety, bonding and calm. When you are truly in love, secure, evolutionary attachment, your heart rate actually slows down. You don't feel butterflies, you feel a heavy warm weight. You feel regulated. To a dopamine addict, which is what you are if you have a history of toxic relationships, this calmness feels like death. It feels like nothing. You mistake the absence of anxiety for the absence of chemistry. The boring test. Here is your first test. Scenario A. You are with them and you are constantly analysing their micro-expressions. Why did they look that way? Why did their tone change? You feel hyper alive, vibrating with energy. Scenario B, you're with them and you could just fall asleep. You feel safe enough to close your eyes. You aren't worrying about what they're thinking because their behaviour is consistent. Scenario A is limerence. It's a stress response. Scenario B is love. It's a safety response. The spark is usually a warning sign. It's your intuition screaming, this person is dangerous or unavailable, unpredictable. And your trauma brain is going, oh, a challenge, let's fix them. Real love is a hearth, not the spark. It doesn't burn the house down, it keeps you warm. If you're bored, it might be because you're finely regulated and you don't know how to function without a crisis. Evolution does not care about your happiness. It cares about your reproduction. Both men and women have distinct evolutionary strategies, and Limerence tricks these strategies. Love fulfills them. So for men, the Madonna versus the teammate. Guys, listen to me. Your evolutionary drive is paternity certainty and status. Limerence hits you when you project high value onto a woman simply because she's scarce. You see a woman who's beautiful and aloof, and your reptile brain says, she's hard to get, therefore she must have good genes. If I capture her, I win the status game. That's one-itis. You aren't in love with her, you're in love with the achievement of getting her. You are trophy hunting. Real love for a man is utilitarian. I know that sounds unromantic. Good. Because romance is marketing. It's a marketing gimmick. Think of Valentine's Day. In the ancestral environment, a pair bond wasn't about staring into each other's eyes. It was about survival. Could she gather food while you hunted? Would she protect your offspring? Real love feels like a partnership. It feels like you are back to back in a foxhole. Limerence feels like you're auditioning for a role. You are constantly performing, trying to earn her. If you are afraid to show her your weakness because she might leave, that is limerence. If you can show her your weakness and she helps you cover it, that is love. Real love lowers your cortisol so you can go out and fight the world. Limerence is the fight. So for the women, the CAD versus the dad. Ladies, your evolutionary software is dealing with the dual mating strategy. You are biologically wired to be attracted to two things that rarely coexist. Good genes, the CAD, high testosterone, dominant, dangerous, exciting. This is the guy that gives you the spark. He triggers limerence because he is risky. So the good investment, the dad, stable, provisioning, kind, protective. This guy feels safe and maybe a little bit boring. You confuse limerence for love because your biology is screaming sexy son hypothesis at you. You want the dangerous genes guy, but you can't build a life with him. Real love is when you find a man who offers costly signals of commitment. Talk is cheap, texts are cheap. Love bombing is cheap. A costly signal is a sacrifice. Does he sacrifice his resources, his time, his ego for your well-being? Limerence is obsessing over the guy who might call. Love is relying on the guy who always answers. If you're trying to tame him, the Beauty and the Beast complex, that is limerence. You are trying to convert a CAD into a dad. If he's already tamed, if he is voluntarily restricting his sexual access to other women to be with you, that is the pair bond. And yes, it does feel less exciting because the danger is gone. The danger is what got you high. There's a concept in biology called honest signalling. Limerence is a dishonest signal. It mimics intimacy through intensity. You have sex, you cry, you share trauma, and it feels deep, but it's hollow. It's trauma dumping, not bonding. Love is an honest signal, and the most honest signal of all is the mundane. Can you go grocery shopping with them and enjoy it? Can you sit in silence in a car for 2 hours without feeling the need to entertain them? Real intimacy is found in the silence, not the noise. Limerence can't survive silence. It needs constant stimulus to keep the fantasy alive. Love thrives in silence. Now we go deeper into the psyche. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, gave us the tools to dismantle your delusions, the anima and animus projection. We do not fall in love with people. We fall in love with projections. Men, you have an inner feminine ideal called the anima, and women, you have the inner masculine ideal called the animus. When you meet someone who has a few hooks, maybe the way she smiles, maybe the way he stands, your subconscious hangs your ideal image onto them like a coat on a hook. Limerence is loving the coat. You're interacting with a hologram. You ignore their red flags because those flags don't fit the script you've written in your head. They don't support your narrative. He's not ignoring me. He's just busy building his empire. No, he's probably ignoring you. She's not crazy. She's just passionate. No, she's probably unstable. Real love is breaking the projection. Real love begins when the illusion shatters. This is the moment most people break up. They say, the magic is gone. No. The projection is gone. Now you are finally seeing the real human being. Real love is looking at their flaws, their morning breath, their annoying habits, their insecurities, and choosing to stay. Limerence is conditional. It says, I love you because you are perfect. Love is unconditional acceptance. It says, I see that you are imperfect, but I choose you anyway. Limerence is often a way to avoid your own shadow. If you are obsessed with saving someone, it's because you are avoiding saving yourself. You are projecting your own need for healing onto them. And if you're obsessed with someone completing you, it's because you feel empty. Real love requires two whole people. In limerence, 1 + 1 = 1. Enmeshment. You lose your identity. You adopt their hobbies, their friends, their opinions. In love, 1 + 1 = 2. Partnership. You maintain your autonomy. You have your own life. They complement it. They don't consume it. If you feel like you would die without them, that is not romantic. That's parasitic. And that is a lack of self. So finally, I'm going to apply the iron logic of Stoicism. So the Stoics, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, understood that emotions are just impressions. They are data, often faulty data, developed during childhood and adolescence. Limerence is a passion in the Stoic sense. It is a suffering. It is something that happens to you. You are a victim of the feeling. I can't help who I love. Rubbish. Real love is a discipline. It is an action. It is a choice you make every single morning. It is not a feeling that washes over you. It is a duty you undertake. Marcus Aurelius said, love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. He didn't say obsess over them. He didn't say stalk them. He said love them. That is an active verb. The Stoic test of love versus limerence. Ask yourself these 3 questions. If you answer yes to the first set, it's limerence. If yes to the second, it's love. So test 1 is the locus of control. So limerence. Does your mood depend entirely on their validation? If they text you, you're happy. If they don't, you're depressed. That's an external locus of control. Love. Are you stable regardless of their mood? Can you support them when they are down without falling into the hole with them? That's an internal locus of control. Test 2, the future visualization. So the limerence question, do you fantasize about the wedding or the vacation, the highlights reel? The love question, do you fantasize about the struggle? Can you imagine them sick? Can you imagine her aging? Can you imagine solving a financial crisis together? Real love is prepared for adversity. Limerence is only prepared for ecstasy. Test 3, the reality of reciprocation. So, the limerence question, are you working harder than they are? Are you reading signs and clues? And then the love question, is it obvious? Stoicism deals in plain facts. If you have to be a detective to figure out if they like you, they don't. Real love is transparent. There is no mystery. And yes, no mystery means less dopamine, but it means more life. Here is the hard truth you need to swallow. Many of you are rejecting healthy love because you are trauma junkies. You meet a nice guy or a stable woman and you feel nothing. You say, there's no chemistry. What you mean is, there's no trauma. There is no trigger for my abandonment issues. There is no challenge to my ego. You have to detox your brain. You have to learn to interpret peace as pleasure, not boredom. You have to realize that the spark is usually the fuse on a bomb. And the boredom, that is the foundation of a skyscraper. If you're currently obsessing over someone, checking their socials, agonizing over texts, stop. That is not love. That is a dopamine addiction. Go and watch my limerence video to learn how to break it now. But if you are with someone who treats you well, who shows up, who respects you, but you feel a little flat, do not run. Sit in the boredom. That boredom is your nervous system finally exhaling after years of holding its breath. That is not the end of passion, it's the beginning of intimacy. Real love is a slow burn, not an explosion. It is the choice to build day after boring day. I want you to go to the comments if you're ready to stop chasing the high and start building the life. I want you to write, I choose peace over chaos. And guys, if there's a specific topic you want me to cover, please do drop a comment below in the video. Send me a DM if you can, and I'll do my best to make a video for you. And likewise, if you've got a topic you don't really want to discuss openly, you want to have a one-on-one session, I do work with people. Links and stuff like that are in the bios. I'm sure you'll find it. Drop me a DM. We can reach out and link up and have a chat and see what we can do. Take care.